Well, that's wonderful. I didn't realize that.
Pretty
St.
cool.
John's 23rd, you have mass opportunity both. Good morning. On this Tuesday of the fourth week of Lent, on this Tuesday, April the 1st, our word for today is water. Water is our word for today, and here to talk about it, Kendra Von Esh, who's in beautiful Tennessee, I believe, with lots and lots of water. Good morning, Kendra.
You know what? You are quite prophetic there, Dave, because we have a flood warning. We're supposed to get something like 8 to 10 inches of rain at the end of this week. So, yee.
I take no offense that you said I was pathetic, but that's okay. Did you hear her? She said, Dave, you are quite pathetic. And it's not the first time I've ever heard it.
No. Prophetic.
Oh, prophetic. I'm so good at pathetic, I'm a pro. There we go. Good morning, Kendra.
I love it. Good morning, gentlemen. Okay, the water is living. You know, last time I had a word of the day of water, and I felt about cleansing. This whole Ezekiel vision just made me think about my journey. You know, first you walk into the temple. By the way, are all churches facing east? I believe they're supposed to be, but I don't know if they are. Next time when you go to your church, see if when you walk in.
Yeah, the mandate has changed, but forever it was all churches had to be facing east. So now that's changed. So they're not all.
Okay, all right.
All the older
good
ones.
To know. Well, you're a wealth of knowledge again. Okay, so when I think about that water flowing out of the temple, I remember the first few times that I walked into a Catholic church. One time I just sat there and I started bawling. And I was like, what is going on with me? And looking back, obviously, there was a power of God's presence around me that actually impacted my soul deeply. And it was palatable. I knew that God was there. And then in the Ezekiel's vision, obviously he's wading in the water, and the water rises and it rises and it rises until it's a river. And I look at that and I think about how much not only God's presence grew in my life, but all of this abundance of blessing just poured in. The more that I started learning about the church and the teachings, and then the fact that I had to conform to Jesus, I knew that I could do it with God. And the more that I turned to God, the more I felt like this river of cleansing around me, and I just dove right in head first. And then when we see Ezekiel talking about the water in that river hitting the Dead Sea's salty water and then turning it into fresh, I think about God's power to bring life and healing into the most polluted and dirty places, like my soul. He did come and just wash away so much. I am still a work in process, obviously, but I still feel like he is constantly taking out, detoxing my body of not only sins, but thoughts, cleansing my thoughts and making sure that my heart is clean and it's desiring the things that God desires and hating the things that God hates. And then once we're all fresh, I guess that fresh water, right, when it meets the salty water, there are trees that can bear fruit all year long. And there's healing properties in the fruit, and there's medicine in the leaves. And I go back to, okay, once you're cleansed, once you're in the presence of God and wading in that big river of his blessings and his grace, then we can be that tree that bears fruit. I don't know about medicine, but hey, some people have the beautiful gift of healing. And I just love the whole process of this living water today as I looked at my life, and I feel like it is just a little map of how God works in our soul.
That is so cool. I love that reflection. Thank you, Kendra.
I love it too. I mean, starting with that trickle, then it's ankle deep, then knee deep, and then you're finally having to swim in it. This progression of our walk with the Lord needs to show those signs of growth, and that sign that now the water is gone from a trickle all the way to a river that we have to swim across and be actively engaged in. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you very much, Kendra.
And be
Amen.
sure to
Have a great day, gentlemen.
Thanks. Be sure to check out Kendra's Reality Reflections podcast. That's always interesting.